Hello there, my name is Anna Delman. I am on a 365-day note writing journey to discipline my life and document my life as it progresses back to full functioning. Today being day 177 of my note writing journey, and my note to myself is, can it be said that my soul, my heart, that I, me, am cast down, yes or no? What's the difference to being cast down and depressed and being in a difficult situation with multiple negative situations contributing to it? I think the difference between those two is faith, God, and hope. Now, why did I write this note for myself? It was after the past few days of spending time in Jeremiah 17:7 and 9. And blessed is the man who trusts in the Lord, whose trust is the Lord. He's like a tree planted by water that sends out its roots by the stream, and it does not fear when heat comes, for its leaves remain green, and is not anxious in the year of drought, for it does not cease to bear fruit. And then as the verses continued, it calls for personal examination and honesty before God. And then yesterday, as I closed and ended my sharing, I quoted, as the deer pants for the water brook, so my soul pants after you, in summation of the water analogy, etc. in the text. So where does that come from? That, friends, is Psalm 42, and I'm going to read that to you. I didn't have place to write it on the whiteboard because I'm sharing it and want others to be encouraged. I wanted the reference there. I most probably will write this on the whiteboard for tomorrow as I dig into it deeper. So when my note board is full, for myself, I usually create a Word document and then do a screenshot or save it into an image and then WhatsApp it to myself so I can read it on my cell phone or open up the Word document, etc., and read it that way, because I want it on multiple devices. And if I'm not on the internet all the time, then if I don't have access, then I can at least open up a screenshot. So Psalm 42. As the deer pants for flowing streams, so pants my soul for you, O God. My soul thirsts for God, for the living God. When shall I come and appear before God? My tears have been my food day and night, while they say to me all day long, where is your God? These things I remember as I pour out my soul, how I would go with the throng and lead them in procession to the house of God with glad shouts and songs of praise, a multitude keeping festival. Why are you cast down, O my soul, and why are you in turmoil within me? Hope in God, for I shall again praise him, my salvation. Verse 6, and my God, my soul is cast down within me. Therefore, I remember you from the land of Jordan and of Hermon, from Mount Mizar. Deep calls to deep at the roar of your waterfalls. All your breakers and your waves have gone over me. That is just trial after trial, difficulty after difficulty coming at him. By the day the Lord commands his steadfast love, and by night his song is with me, a prayer to the God of my life. That's acknowledging his ever-presence. Verse 9, I say to God, my rock, why have you forgotten me? Why do I go mourning because of the oppression of the enemy? Verse 10, as with a deadly wound in my bones, my adversaries taunt me, while they say to me all the day long, where is your God? Why are you cast down, O my soul, and why are you in turmoil within me? Hope in God, for I shall again praise him, my salvation and my God. Now, the more I thought about that, I was challenged in, am I cast down? Is my soul, my heart, my psyche, my functioning ability all from the position of being cast down? Or am I acknowledging, as the psalmist does, when he says waves after waves, and all these things are just coming at him. And then if you read study notes with that, and I read Charles Spurgeon, it is trial after trial, difficulty after difficulty. One doesn't end before another one begins, and he likened it to a Job experience. Now, we all have difficulties in our lives. As we get older, there tend to be more of them. The past, I would say 12 years, my life has gone from one difficulty to the next, to the next, to the next. Now, I will say there have been days when it has been difficult to bear. Even seasons when I thought, am I depressed? Sure, I was sad. But the part of my life where I challenged, am I depressed? In hindsight, when I look back, no, I wasn't. I was more sick than I ever thought I was. And the tiredness, the being downcast, not as in depressed, was my body just being plain old exhausted. Now, friends, if you're in a difficult situation and you're able to get medical attention, I suggest you go look into that. You could be in a low moment, mentally, emotionally, psychologically, because of difficult things going on in your life. It doesn't mean you are depressed. When life is pressing down on you and it's casting you down, you still want to be, and this is why I left it up, because I wanted to refer to it. You can be in that, friends, and you can still have leaves that remain green. You can still produce fruit. Now, yesterday I did say the fruit doesn't have to be anything evidenced to anybody else under the sun but to God. That's who judges your fruit. No one else. No one else. Him, you. That's who you are bearing fruit to for him to see. Now, it doesn't mean you shut yourself down and shut out, that you are a bear towards everybody else and you growl and you short with them. That's not what I mean. The kindness and the grace and the sweetness of temperament to others, it doesn't mean that you're hugging everybody, but just the quietness. Like I said yesterday, wisdom to step aside and walk in a different direction. Wisdom if you're able to duck out, and I use that term humorously, but get out of the way. If you see somebody who has been highly antagonistic and slanderous about you before, step out of the way. That is fruit. That is greenness in a desert situation. So, friends, once again, in Psalm 42, if you have a Bible to read, I read that in the English Standard Version. If you can get to the Amplified, Google it. Bible Gateway does a great different translations. You'll be able to find it there. Highly encouraging to read it, because we are all in situations where we are in difficulties. It doesn't mean we can say, why are you so cast down, O my soul? It's when we are taking our eyes off God. And here it says, blessed is the man who trusts in the Lord, whose trust is the Lord. It's because Jeremiah knew who God was. He knew the faithfulness of God. Blessed, thankful, praising, saluting, reverencing, kneeling down in humility. And that's not physical. It can be physical if you kneel in prayer, but it is a heart understanding, trusting God in the most adverse of situations which are personal to you. Now, we all know that when we are in those difficulties, sometimes it takes more than a moment to catch our breath, and that is okay. Friends, change is a process, not an event, and that is why I'm doing a 365 days. I've stayed faithful for 177, and friends, tomorrow will be 178, and I will talk to you again. Bye-bye for now.